All right.
Back from break.
Back from break. We're going to do a fun little thing called a conditional. The word conditional is perfect for this because conditional means depending on something is true or false, or depending on something happened or not, it's conditional, right? So an if statement is a conditional statement. There's other ones, but again, what's the point of showing you all the other if statements if we're not really going to use them? Just show a practical one. We're just going to show the one if. For example, if you type the word if, and then open, closing, parentheses, and then open, closing, curly braces. So this is a conditional if statement. Now, in order to make it easier to read, for one thing, you press enter here to open up the open and closing. So whatever is inside of this if statement, then do this. So we're going to do if. You can do anything, but these are very powerful. So if constring, and there's a method on this variable called character at. So character at, see? And so what this is saying is if the character at 0, and that's something I never explained, I guess, so far in JavaScript and coding. When you start counting the word something, and when you start counting from anything really, except there's this one thing where it actually counts from, that's in CSS. But in JavaScript, when you start counting elements in an array or characters in a string, so in this case, the characters in a string, it starts at 0. So 0 is S, and then 1 is the O, and then 2 is M.
Oh yeah, we learned that in watching code.
Okay, exactly. So that was in watching code, right? So the character at the 0th position. So if the character at the 0 position is equal to, and here you do, these are called operators, the equal sign. And there's a few different types of operators. So for this one is, if it's equal to S, and you have to put S inside of quotes because it's a string. And this, when you use 3 equal signs, it's like very strict. It has to be exactly matching. So capital, it's like case sensitive. So if it's an S, then console.log first letter is, and actually I just thought of something really cool. You could do something like this maybe, plus condition string dot character at whatever that letter is. So that should work. So that should say the first letter is, or whatever the first letter is. Does that make sense? So, but first let me see if this works. So if I refresh, yeah. The first letter is S. So the first letter is plus, we're concatenating. And then just to make sure we're actually really, let me do one more thing to make sure this works. Okay, so this is really awesome. Nice learning experience here. So what this is saying is the first letter is plus, we're concatenating, right? So this plus operator is concatenating. It's not adding anything, it's
Slow down.
concatenating. Okay?
So, can you refresh yours so I can see your... So the first letter is S? First letter is what? I need to do that.
So just step back a minute then. Just do first letter is, first that has to be in quotes. And then the end quote after the word is, plus is outside of the quotes. Yeah, and then the space inside of the quotes. And then con string character at 0. So this is telling you the first letter is whatever the first letter is of the string at this character index. This is called index. So the 0 index, whatever that is, then that's going to be that letter. Well, you don't even need anything after that if you don't want. It's fine. I just did that to show you that it is working. Now, what you could even do more than that is say like this. So, never mind. This is good enough. This is good, yeah? Do you understand? Any questions on this?
I don't know what's wrong. It should be working.
So, you might need an extra. This has a 0 inside of parentheses, and then there's a closing parentheses for the console log. You see that? Make sure you have that. So,
16 is still not like the same as yours, not 16. It looks the same. There's got to be something wrong.
can you zoom in so I can see? Man plus. Oops. Doesn't work, huh? That's fine. Let's just try to look closer.
Well, I just messed it up now.
All right.
Well, there's an equal. Shouldn't that be a plus?
Yes. Both of those should be pluses. Just remove whatever is after that, or put a plus after char at parentheses too, because you have two equal signs. So a plus should be there too.
Right here?
Yeah, because you're concatenating after the text. Yeah.
After at?
No, after the parentheses. Yeah, that should work.
And I save it. And then refresh your page. Just go up the file and save.
I just think it's,
Is
right
that
here.
save?
Yeah, save.
Oh, okay.
Ah, save all. Okay.
It's pretty,
I think you just close it though.
I don't know what I did.
Mine's, let me see. That's because you got this maximized. Should minimize that. It's not close. Right there. This is maximized too. I don't know how that. Why is this maximized? Oh, this grab together. But actually understand what you just talked about. It's not more a matter of syntax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is my first experience with JavaScript, but I worked with Basic and and so I've actually done something very similar in Basic for a molecular biology application where I was trying to fabricate oligonucleotides to link up with a sequence of E. coli DNA. So it's a linear DNA sequence, and I called up a character string of, say, 8 characters and had it count up so that you would take a window of that DNA sequence from the beginning to the end of the DNA sequence to tell me how many sites along the DNA this oligonucleotide would bind to. And what you do is you find 2 places to extend, and they extend in opposite directions. You get a sequence, a sequence of DNA that's pretty linear. And you can modify it so that you can make a change. So, say you know what an oligonucleotide is?
I'm not sure, but
It's a human fabricated 8-code sequence of bacterial DNA, and you can. Stop
Right.
Sorry.
all right. So we got this. Did you ever figure it out, Russell?
No, I'm still on the same about line 18. I got the same thing here right there. I don't know.
So what we're going to do after this is actually, I guess I can make it more simple and just say, I don't know how else to make it more simple. You have this is a string. So in the console log, the text that I want to show is a string inside of quotes, and then the plus sign outside the quotes, and then this is the variable, the same variable here, dot char at, and then the 0 inside of parentheses. What we're going to do here is an else statement. So that if the first letter is not S, else, we're going to console log the first letter is not S. So we're going to do like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this up here in the if statement. Just change it any other letter that's not S. So we change it to P. And now we should see, we'll just actually, what did you say? Whatever. If we change that letter to P, we'll go over to Chrome, refresh it, we should see the else statement on line 18. Because now it's not evaluating as true. So what that line 16 is saying, yeah, so it's else on line 18.
What's the point of the else?
So that means that if this is not true, so if line 16 evaluates as true, and it actually is evaluating, meaning if the character at the 0 index is actually P, if it's true, then do this. If it's not true, if it's false, then do this. So right now it's not true, so we should see the first letter is S. I should change this actually to say like error, the if statement evaluated as false. So you get this here. So this if-else statement is very powerful and fundamental, really.
Should we change that 0 to a 1 in a condition string character at?
Well, you could just change the letter P to something else if you want. Or yeah, you can change the character string to character index. You can change that to make it false. All right. Yeah, all the syntax, meaning the syntax is like the grammar of the code. You'll pick all that up. Don't get too stressed or worried about memorizing it. Kind of focus on coding. And that is part of coding, obviously, but don't get too stressed if you're not like getting all the semicolons. See, the beautiful thing is in the console, it will tell you the error. So if you're not getting this, it will tell you the error here. So that's important. Everything okay? You got it to work? Yay.
No, Russell. I'll figure it out eventually. Jack Russell. Software.
All right, so let me show you guys the actual project we're working towards. So this is what we're going to be making. And this is a random quote generator. So it gets some quotes. Let me make it slower real quick. So what I'm doing here is actually, if you wanted to see this on the GitHub, if you wanted to show you on your computer, Brett, you will go to my GitHub, which is Dominic-Designs at GitHub. And then you would go to my repository, and you would go to the random quote generator. And I don't have a link to it, so let me make it real quick, actually. So I'm going to make this live by going to settings and then scrolling down. Huh? Dominic-Designs. I'm just going to make this a GitHub pages. Whoops. You just scroll down, go to settings, and you just make this live by choosing.
How do you find somebody on GitHub?
You do go to like github.com/Dominic hyphen designs.
GitHub.com/Dominic-design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Then you go to my repository, and then you go down to random quote generator, and that's the code. But I need to edit this to make the. So I'm not going to do that now, but this is what we're going to be making. So how did I? Yeah. So this is what we're going to be making.
Can you do curl from VS Code? Just curl the.
We're not going to do that now. We're focused on coding.
I want to download your code.
Oh, if you want to do that, you could just do, yeah, you definitely can. And inside of VS Code, you definitely can to answer your question. But on GitHub, it says copy or clone, and you do a git clone. And that's the way you would clone it if you wanted it. Or you can do curl. I'm not familiar with curl.
I clone with HTTPS.
Well, the easy way is go to github.com, and on the top of the repo, it says click here to clone or download, and you copy the URL. You go to, you go to your terminal, and you say git clone, and you copy that URL.
That's what I was talking about. Can you do that for VS Code?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
We're not going to do VS Code today, though. We're going to focus on coding. I don't want to get distracted.
Let's go through.
I am using VS Code to code.
I know, but I don't want to get distracted by doing things like,
Gotcha.
today we're doing coding, like raw code. On another day, we'll do like Git. That's like Git and VS Code. And
Why are you yelling at me?
sorry,
You're so condescending.
because the fans are so loud. It's just killing my throat.
It's a little hot up here. It's like India.
No, it's not. No, it is a little warm. Welcome to New Delhi, people. So this is a little bit more advanced because it's changing color and it's changing quote at the same time. It took me a little bit more time to do that. But ideally, what yours is gonna look like is actually where you click a button and it changes the quote. So let me just demonstrate then one more time. I'm going to demonstrate with the button of what it would look like. So we got the button, and I got to go back here. All right, so then if we go back here, there should be like a button, and that should work. But anyway, let me make it work. But you see the button here? That's what y'all going to be putting. So when you click the button, there's a new quote. So let me just make sure that's working. So, one second. All right, this should work. So, let's refresh the page. Yeah, so when you click the button, a new quote and a new color comes up, and there's a random method, a math.random, that helps you get random things. So this is technically a random. Anybody know Jerry Garcia? Yeah. Grateful Dead, Terrapin Station. Love that song. So this is what we're going to be making. This is our project 1. And so you will be using the if statements and also the math, the random generator. So why don't we do the random method. See if I can get that to work. So we got that. When the button clicks, let's just do maybe a random number, console log a random number. So it's inside this as event listener. We'll write all the code inside of there, although technically we can refactor it later and bring it outside of this event listener. So again, we're going back to the button. So when we click the button, we're going to show a random number. So we're going to create a variable inside of this add event listener. We're going to call it, let's just say let random number equal empty string. Or just let it equal nothing for now. And the way you do that, just do let random number and then semicolon. And then let me see how we do this.
Is that place mark, is it effective?
This? Yeah, you don't have to have it, but just makes it easier. You could just say var rand number equals.
What's the format of that place mark?
What do you mean? The semicolon?
No, just literally our random.
Oh, you can name it whatever.
Yeah, is it just an element and that element takes the form of whatever you put into it? Or does it have some sort of structure?
Yep. No, yeah, it's just a variable. And right now it has no value. So we're going to give it a value. You're just declaring the variable there. And then you're going to give it a value of math.random. And that actually might work. And if we console log this, so if we remove this, and then, so here is a random number plus random so that should work, where once we click the button, it will say, give us a string, this is a random number, space, and a random number. And a random number should be anywhere between 0 and 1, but not including 1. And that's important. So it's a decimal point. It's just built in. So this math.random is a built into JavaScript. So let's just see if it works. Here it worked.
It's not truly random. Yeah, each time it's not.
I know, but you couldn't use it for a lottery or anything. You could. It's probably accurate. It's not true random. There's got to be
Right. And if you set a seed so that the timer is
No, it's just so that the reason we would use this is you would get like a random string from your array of quotes. Remember we're using quotes?
Yeah.
So it just helps you get a random quote.
Well, I did something like this with Python
Yeah.
10 years ago. I built random built a calculator for finding girls, which girls do I want to date with.
So does this work? Do not listen if you're married to Brett.
Yeah, I wasn't married back then.
He's married now, okay? So he doesn't need this anymore.
not guilty.
So everybody get this to work? You could, you could have just say let random equal, but computer scientists, they like to declare the variables up top and then give the value to the variable later. Either way. So let math.random. So you could do something, you can wrap math.random into something else, into another one called math. We'll wrap it into math.floor.
You said map it or wrap it?
Wrap it. So we do this and wrap this inside of math.floor. So in other words, math.
Can you explain what that means? Because are you talking about like wrap, like rhyme, like I'm Eminem?
Encapsulate.
Encapsulate. Okay.
That's the actual technical term actually I should be using. So we're encapsulating math.random inside of this math.floor. So if I took this out, you got math.floor and some open closing parentheses, right? Everybody see that? And inside of those, you're putting math.random, open closing parentheses. And so math.random is its own encapsulating.
Arguments one into the other, so the result of random gets processed by math.floor. What does math.floor do?
It's going to take that random number and bring it down, round it to the nearest integer. What we're going to do, so yeah, so
you're going to get true or false at that point, 0 or 1.
well, so math.floor.random times 1. All right, and or plus 1,
I was wondering about that.
and then it actually should be plus 1, and then if I run it, whoops, save it. Let's see if this works. Here's a random number.
It's 1 every time. Though.
Well, it's going to be 1 every time. So we do times 1. No, that's not going to work. It's going to be like math.random number.
I don't think floor rounds. I think it just takes, so whatever so it takes the closest integer and just takes away the decimal place. Like whatever your remainder is just taken away.
Why is it just
Yeah, because it's not.
math.random times over that length? How about yeah, you have to do something else inside of here.
Math.random times 10.
Oh, I know. This is plus 1 inside of here. No.
How about times 10?
Times 10?
Yeah. Math.random times 10. And then you're going to get a number between 1 and 10. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get a number between 1 and 10.
That 9, or the 4, for instance, could be 4.999. But because you have your integer being 4 and your remainder being the decimal, it's just taking away the decimal.
Yes, exactly. Everything after the decimal.
Yeah. It should round up, well, I mean, not function.
No, this rounds down, but if you do math.ceil, it rounds up. So math.ceil, math.floor. Math.floor will take that number, the random number, and round it down if it's below 0.5, right? Or if it's above 0.5, it'll round it up. Math.ceil.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think you can do something here, like, but maybe I'm wrong, where you can put a number inside of this number and then multiply it. So if you did like,
Times 10 mark again.
So, say you get 0.7 as a result. You multiply by 10, now you've got 7. It doesn't matter what you have afterwards.
Right.
But I'm thinking math.round. I'm going to control.
So if I put 5 in there, to give me a random number between 1 and 5. Put 10 in there, to give me a random number between 1 and 10.
so check it out. If you,
Here it is. Math.round gives you a number of 0 or 1 without any multiplying. So if you multiply by 10, then you're going to get, so math.round is the function that we're looking for to be able to, like, if it's 0.5, it'll round up. If it's anything less than that, it'll round down. Instead of math.seal.
Math.round is existing? Okay.
Yeah.
Rounded to the nearest integer. Yeah, so you got math.round, math.seal, math.floor. These are different methods.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, so I didn't take the times
And you can still multiply by 10, but math.round will give you that plus or minus, depending on what it's closer to, instead of, yeah.
Well, if you take out the numbers, all you do is get 1 or 0.
yeah, exactly.
Right, so that's why you multiply by 10.
Yeah, because it's going to give you a 0 or 1.
Whatever number you put in there, that's what it's going to, it's the range of numbers that it's going to pull from.
Yeah,
If I put a million in there, it's going to pick a number between 1 and a million.
yes.
How do I use a set of all numbers?
I don't know.
Or if you're trying to roll an 8-sided die,
Did you get it?
multiply by
Yeah, I
9.
got this medicine is killing me. Take a water pill. It kills me. I got to pee like every 45 minutes. I hate it.
Just wear an astronaut diaper.
I'm telling you. We get adult diapers from the food bank for some reason. Maybe I should start carrying them with me.
Okay, this is cool. You can do a lot with this.
Yeah, so you use this for your random quote generator. In order to get a random quote or a random number or a random color in the background, there's this really cool trick to grab the RGB and get a random RGB, which is the color hex color or whatever, and put that in the background. So, yeah.
And then you'd have to create an array of colors, right? Like at least 10 colors.
Well, no, you would do a random. So RGB, the colors RGB means any random number between 256.
Oh,
So it would, and you got X, Y, and Z, or RGB.
so it already, the library, JavaScript library, already knows what colors are?
No, you tell it. So this is the way I did it. Like, I guess I could just show you.
Black would be 0 red, 0 blue, 0 green.
So if you just did math.floor
255.
times 256, and then you concatenate these, you do X plus Y plus Z, because in CSS, you can add and then you would add that, the style, that background color is the way you would, in JavaScript, add a CSS style. Background color, you just concatenate whatever random color between 0 and 256, but not including 256, because it's actually, RGB is actually up until 255.
So we're going to make this next week, I guess?
Yeah. No, you're going to do it. This is going to be your project. I'm just...
Oh, we got to figure it out on our
Yeah. I'm giving you the tools that you need in order to make this happen. But your project, in order to pass...
Put that code back up there so I can copy it.
Well, actually, it's at my GitHub, but I should make it private. But hey, you know what? If you can take it, it's up to you. You know, if you're really going to learn code, then you wouldn't go there and just take it. And also, I can tell if you took it. Because I can know if you
I
know.
already climbed it. But I won't look.
You can look if you want. I mean, there's no, that's how you learn how to code. But you can't just like plagiarize.
Basically, you just taught us in this class the tools that we need to figure it out for ourselves.
Not all the tools, but mostly, yeah.
So what are we going to do next week?
I'm going to give you the project itself. You haven't even gotten the project.
Oh. So we have homework? Keep watching.
Watching code. If you're,
Push-ups.
if you're not, huh?
Push-ups, sit-ups.
Yeah, if you're done with watching code, then watch it again. But you shouldn't be done in 1 week. It took me like months to finish it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be more than I thought.
It's very carefully.
But we're not doing the exercise, we're just watching it.
You should be.
Just watching and not doing.
Well, that.
Watch.
Yeah, how you gonna? No. You gotta actually do it.
It's like learning language, like Chinese.
1
Excuse me. All right.
Well, that's it. I missed it. We tried to solve world hunger.
Damn, that's just my luck too.
Anyway, we're done.
Yep.
Got it. You ready to shut off the voice recording?
We still got 10 minutes. Do you have any questions or anything?
Okay, question and answer time.
Yeah.
So far, so good. This is really helpful.
It's
I
fun.
gotta go back and start looking over the videos again.
Excited. Yeah, just keep going.
I was just trying to get through them all real quick.
I don't
So
concentrate
I
on
was
the
like, man, I'm gonna have to
specifics so
go
much
back
of
over
that,
a lot of
understanding
rewatching.
like how to read the code and what are the concepts behind it. And if I'm
Mhm.
looking for a function, I'll type in what I think it might be, and it comes up with something that like math.random.
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed, but or round. So
Yeah, he was saying in the beginning of the web, there's a website, I can't remember what they are, but I put it on, it's going to be on the video, that you can go to, is it W3? What was
Yeah,
it?
W3. MDN and W3. MDN.
MDN.
Yeah. Mozilla Developer Network. Are you ready to pause it and stop
Yep.
the audio?
Yeah, ready? 1,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop.